Seconds. Didn't quite anticipate it long enough. Okay, we're ready to go.
All right, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Temple City Unified School District Board of Education for Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. Our roll call vote. Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm here, and Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Okay, great. Next, we'll have public comment on closed session agenda items. I don't think we had any, right, Maureen?
No.
Okay. However, a couple of our representatives from our bargaining units would like to speak now rather than later in the meeting. So let's see, Ellen from TCEA, would you like to go now?
Sure, thank you.
Sure.
Good evening. As daunting a task as teaching in distance learning model is for our teachers, preparing an entire school district for distance learning in about 100 days is an insurmountable task. Our educational service model has been required a systemic change to take place in about 100 days due to the pandemic. But Temple City Unified School District has done it. Superintendent Dr. Kim Fricker and her cabinet members facilitated the necessary adaptations which are required by the state so that we can receive funding for us to teach in this model. Dr. Fricker, Dr. Makovitz, Marianne Surreal, Dr. Kataroyan, Mrs. Getty, and Dr. Gomez deserve our recognition, our gratitude, and our respect. Our colleagues at the district office deserve our kindness and grace. They have worked all summer nonstop at a job that honestly no one can succeed at, but they have done a phenomenal job transitioning our school district to distance learning. Their dedication to students and teachers, their ability to handle complex and ever-changing situations, and their level of integrity is clear as each of Governor Newsom's guidelines, requirements, and mandates are being followed with a solid plan. California school district superintendents have continuously received new guidelines throughout the summer for student engagement, closing the digital divide, and to plan a robust distance learning model. And the team at the district has met each new requirement. Our district's distance learning model isn't flawless, and how could it be when it was created in about 100 days? There is no model of how to do this. There's no plan of reference, but our superintendent and cabinet problem solved every minute this summer because of their dedication to our students, teachers, and community. There are problems. There's going to be problems all year long, and the problems that will arise are no one's fault. There is no one person to blame. The district is not at fault. We can only blame the pandemic for creating this tragedy and thank the district for finding solutions. Dr. Fricker has afforded our certificated employees grace and time to learn and to grow as professionals this year to become distance learning educators. Although she herself did not have the advantage of time on her side, she had the pressure to facilitate a distant learning model that provides students with dynamic engagement, interactive teaching, individualized learning, and challenging assignments so that the learning gap will begin to close. Distance learning is in its infancy, and there will be bumps along the way, but in the infancy stage, the most growth occurs. We will all grow and learn this year, not just our students, but educators as well. The district is going to continue to train our educators so that we can all develop the necessary skills to be successful distance learning teachers. We are thankful and appreciative of all district principals and assistant principals who have also worked tirelessly to problem solve and turn their sites into virtual learning schools while continuously supporting teachers. Kyla and I reached out to many teachers today to take a pulse check on how our first day of school went. And for the most part, we were successful and have only minor issues. The issues that we have are not a surprise to the district. They have anticipated these issues and have been problem solving all along. I'm not certain of if any of us really are looking forward to tomorrow, but it helps to have had mostly positive experiences today. It was bittersweet to see our students' faces on a computer screen, but we are going to make the best of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen, for your nice comments.
Thank you.
And Robin, representing CSEA 105, I believe you wanted to speak also early.
Yes. Hi, everyone. First of all, I echo what Ellen said about everybody and their hard work. You know how much I appreciate you and admire you. I've told you over and over, but I do have a concern tonight. I want to speak to a matter that came to my attention through an employee. I believe you received a letter regarding this today. It is regarding item E.4 on tonight's agenda. It is reclassifying an employee from a secretary to an executive assistant 2, which is a step from a 23 to a 37 and means a 21% raise. My problem with this particular change is that it wasn't included in the classified job study agreement. All the secretary positions changed titles except this one. We never specified what this one would be. In making this position an executive assistant position, it removes this person from CSEA and folds a valuable position of ours, which can't be done without negotiations. This employee is not just being reclassified. This job was created and she is being automatically moved into it. And that's not how the process should be done. If the district wanted a new position in the superintendent's office, and I do believe that it's necessary, it should have been flown and all eligible employees should have had a chance to test, interview, and be chosen or not be chosen. I do not doubt that this employee is doing the work or is capable of handling the position. I have every confidence that she is doing it. This is not about her personally at all, but I will say that she has been with the district for only a few years, and there are several much more senior employees who may have liked the chance to apply. I'm asking that you look into this situation further before you approve tonight. We just need to do things according to the PC rules and regs, Ed Code, and the CSEA contract. We are a merit district and things need to be done as though we are. One more item I was looking at is item 25, and I'm not quite sure why we are flying a webmaster position when CSEA 105 already has a webmaster position that was not filled after somebody resigned from that position last year. So those are my two concerns. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Robin, for your input. We'll move on to item 4, which is disclosure of items to be discussed in closed session. There are 2. Personnel matters, Government Code 54957, public employee appointment, discipline, dismissal, and release. And conference with labor negotiators, Government Code 54957.6. I am the designated representative and the unrepresented employee is our superintendent. So with that, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn to closed session at 6:09?
So moved. Second.
Motion by member Smith, second by member Lynn. Was that what I heard? Okay. Okay, roll call vote. Member Smith,
Yes.
member Espinosa,
Yes.
member Lynn.
Yes.
She's gonna. vote for
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned to closed session. So I think, are we gonna have a little room to go to?
Yes, setting it up now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Join my platform.
Marie, can I interrupt you? Or are you busy right now?
I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Hey, if it would help, I'd love to read that statement again at TCEA time at the public session.
No
If-
problem.
It depends on how many people are there. You know, if there's a big crowd, it's complimentary. Hey, Kyla.
Hey.
Okay. Let me just text Donna that you want to read it again during public. That's fine. It's all good.
How are you, Kyla?
I'm okay. I had a trouble getting in and then I ended up in their private meeting, so.
Right.
You're like,
was-
I know I got an invite. I hit ignore right away. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I got invited. I declined immediately.
I was like, well, I'm new to this. I don't know why they're calling me in here. Did I
don't
do
want it,
something?
trust
What's
me.
going on?
Sorry,
Surprise.
guys. I usually set that up before the meeting. I got done with all the craziness here.
Yeah, too much to do. All right. Well, I'm going to log off and come back on around 7.
All right. I
Bye.
think I'll do the same. Bye-bye.
Anne, you are the part of the citizens committee, right?
I am, and that's why I'm here. However, I have another meeting for another organization on Zoom at 7, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to stay.
So I wonder, like, have you been in these kind of meetings? I'm kind of lost. I have been
The
joining.
one
these
meeting that we
meetings.
had was the one meeting that we had. So
Right, that was like, you mean the one meeting that we had is like, you mean that like 2 months ago?
yes, we have not
Okay.
had another one to my knowledge.
Okay. So what is our role
Well,
here in these meetings?
I think that what they're doing tonight is they're probably submitting, you got the booklet, they're probably submitting that one of the reports that needs to be submitted on in a certain timeline.
Right.
And it's a report that we kind of discussed, but really don't have anything much to do with. So I think that we'll start meeting again once things get going after the school year starts again. I mean, since it's just starting. So I'm really not, I was not sure why we were called to be here tonight, except that we're going to present this thing.
Okay. And, you know, I mean, including the meeting from the last time, I'm actually kind of lost. Is there a place that actually tell me like, what am I supposed to do in these meetings? Or is there any guidelines for me that what am I,
Wait,
you know,
did you get the booklet?
you mean this booklet, right?
The white, yes, the white book.
Right. Yes, yes, yes.
This should have pretty much all the information in it that you need. It talks about what the responsibilities of the committee are.
Okay.
It's got that
Oh, I see.
PowerPoint
Okay.
thing in it that you can look at if you want to.
Okay.
And it's got the audits of those kinds of things in it.
Okay.
So if you go through this booklet, it should tell you. We are we are the Citizens Oversight Committee, and our responsibility is just to kind of keep tabs on what's going on. They will present us what they're doing, and we are the ones that say, okay, we think you're doing it right, or we have questions about how this is going, and you need to answer these questions for us. So basically, we have that responsibility and we give them that credibility. I don't know that there are all that many issues that come up that we will need to deal with, but they do need to have people like us that are willing to listen to these reports and to go through them and to either approve them or deny them.
Okay. Like for example, for the moment ago, that lady was talking about the district was hiring someone in a certain way.
Okay, that's a different thing.
That's a different thing. That's not something
That's
that
a
we
totally
said.
different thing. That is involved in the merit system and the personnel office and that kind of thing. That has nothing to do with us.
Okay.
That was Robin Penn, and she's president of the 105 group, which is the white collar group, or the secretaries and that kind of thing, the classified people. But that doesn't have anything to do with us. We're
But we mainly just for the like
we're
like the
strictly on
last
the bond. We're strictly covering the distribution of the monies on the bond.
money. Okay, I see. Just basically what we did in the last
Exactly.
meeting that
Yeah.
how much money they were spending on the school and facility.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, no, what Robin talked about was totally different.
Okay. And you have been on these committee for quite a few years.
On this committee, on the
Yeah.
COC, no, I have
Oh.
not. I've been on the Personnel Commission for a long time. And that's the commission that was talking about that secretarial position. But I've not been on this committee. Mary Ann asked me to sit on this committee this year. So I have not been on it for a long time either. I'm just like you are. I'm brand new.
I see. Like if I have, let's say in the meantime, like if I was reading it, if I couldn't figure out something, should I go? Is there a person that I should actually talk to?
If you can't figure something out, you could probably talk. If you don't want to call one of the members of the committee who may not be able to figure it out either, you could talk to Mary Ann.
Okay, I can talk to Mary Ann.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I see.
She's kind of the one that's in charge of this, as far as
I
we are personally concerned.
I see. Okay. So right now they are in the closed section.
Right now, the school board is in closed session discussing probably matters of personnel.
Okay.
That's
okay.
usually what goes on in a closed session.
Okay. So then, do they need us for the rest of the night?
Well, I don't know. As I said, they probably will come back from closed session, maybe at 6:45, but I have another meeting at 7. So
I was looking at, yeah.
But you could probably log off and then log back on again at about 7 if you wanted to.
Yeah, I was looking at the agenda, right? Item 20, there was a discussion information items that was under business service. Then it has our annual report.
Right.
So
And that's what we're here for. And Mary Ann will present that, I assume.
Oh, okay. So it's probably just so you're thinking about that would happen something around like 7 o'clock?
Probably after 7. We were invited primarily because the report is going to be presented, not because we need to speak to it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So how long does the closed section take?
I have no idea. I think it depends.
Oh. Okay.
They kind of indicated it would be about an hour.
I see. Okay.
All right.
And Gina is our president.
Gina is the chairman of the chairman of our group.
Okay.
And she is not here.
Okay.
But she may not be going to log in until 7 either. I don't know.
Okay. Now that's much more clear. Thank you, Anne.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to meet you. It's kind of strange to be seeing one another like this all the time, but that's okay. I guess. That's
Yeah. I got my my older one actually started the school just today. It's the first day for him, but I was pretty pleased.
Where is she going to school?
He is in La Rosa.
He's at La Rosa. Is he just
second
starting?
Grade. Second grade.
Second grade. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you do today?
He loves it.
Good.
I think most of the kids around my son, that most of them, they're not too looking forward to the school, but I'm surprised that they're actually looking forward for their lunch.
Well, I think that a lot of the kids, the parents that I've talked to whose kids were kind of concerned about all this, once they saw everybody on the Zoom thing or once they saw the other kids in the class,
right,
they felt a lot better about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's tough, but I think the kids will adapt. I have 3 teachers in my house, not in my house. I have a daughter who teaches junior high in Ohio.
Okay.
And I have a son who teaches high school in Alaska. And I have a daughter-in-law, his wife teaches at the university in Alaska. And he feels, he's a high school teacher. He said, my kids, his students, he said, they're going to handle all of the technology just fine. He said, they do not have a problem with the technology. The ones I'm worried about, he said, are the little ones, the kindergartners and the preschoolers and the first graders who don't really know. They do okay, but they need the personal contact to get them into it. It's not, and he said, that's really where he feels that people need to spend their time to see if there isn't a way that you can get them in groups of 6 or 8 socially distanced, maybe once a week, to meet together so that they can kind of get into that a little bit. And I think he's probably right. I think
for the whole summer we were, so I have 2 kids. So the older one is 2nd grade. The younger one is just turned 4.5, and he's going to be in TK. He's going to be kindergarten next August. But the older one, he just picked it up. Other than he just say, well, it's kind of boring looking at the screen.
They actually pick it up faster than we do because they're not afraid of it at all. I mean,
they were doing great. They were doing great. But then, like you say, the younger one, he's only 4.5. He literally, needs someone physically sit next to him. Otherwise, he's not going to do his work.
Well, their attention span isn't that good either. 4.5.
So I'm kind of like, I'm working from home. So like basically every day, at least 1.5 hour, if I want him to get something done, I will literally have to sit next to him, guiding him, and he's willing to pick up a pencil to do it. If I don't do that, then if I have like I have meetings on during that day, then he's gonna be on his own. He's gonna be watching videos and things like that. The younger
well, I
one
don't
is
think
a
it
lot
really
harder.
means enough to him yet.
Yeah.
There's no purpose for him yet.
Right.
You understand that.
Yeah, and then sending them back to school is also very difficult because we guarantee that they're not going to put on their masks, and then they're going to hug each other. There's no 6 feet. There's no social distance. So
no, it's tough. It's a difficult situation. My daughter teaches music, and I said, "What are you going to do?" She said, "I don't know. They're online now, but even when they get back together, they can't sing. They can't do any of those things. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's really, it's tough. A very difficult situation.
The things change so fast, and all of a sudden people try to adapt it. After half year, people finally maybe settle down, and then now they probably are starting to get used to it. And then.
Well, I think everybody's doing the best they can, and they really want to do the right thing. The teachers have been. I know the teachers have been very stressed. And the districts have been very stressed. I mean, it's not that people haven't wanted to do the right thing. Nobody really knows this is something brand new. Nobody really knows how to do this.
Right.
So it's a learning experience that's going on all across the country, which is maybe not in every place, but the universities are having a terrible time. I mean, the numbers are going up at the universities all the time because the kids won't stop partying.
Correct.
And, that they got to do. That they've got to do.
I mean, there's some people just don't believe in that. I mean, we drove around, just don't get out of the car, but we went to some other cities, and you can literally see people just don't put on their mask. They were grouping together, they were partying, and just like, okay.
So
that's why the number doesn't come down, I guess.
Well, I don't want to get it. And I don't want to give it to anybody.
Correct.
So I'm basically staying home most of the time. I mean, there's not really much of an alternative. So I don't have any pre-existing conditions, but I'm older. And so I'm in the age group that is more sensitive to this kind of thing. So, I'll do what I have to do, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So. Okay, so I guess we'll try to log back in at around 7 o'clock then.
Okay, well, I hope everything goes well for your son at school.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a learning experience for everybody.
Yes. Okay, thank you for your explanation.
I think I'm going to log off, and I will, if I have time, maybe log in a little bit before 7 and see what's going on.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you
thank
later.
you. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
No, but I can still hear the TV.
What you doing?
Cross stitch. It's gonna
It
look.
looks like a Christmas thingy wingy.
It is. Oh, years. Oh, yes, it is. It's gonna look like. Oh. Well. This is the one I'm doing right now.
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I did that one already.
How many hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I needed a COVID project.
Yeah.
And it's not wool. I have a piece I did. Oh, I can't remember. I think I ended it in like 2003 maybe or something like that, but I did over the span of like 6 years because I thought, oh, I need this nice little project. Well, it's all wool. And so I'd never worked on it during the summer and when it was humid or anything like that. So it was just, yeah, it was bad. So, but that's a fun one. I like that one. That it's huge. It was supposed to be a little Eve weekend. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it. Don't know what I was.
It'll be beautiful when you finish, but it's
Yeah,
gonna take
yeah. It's a old-fashioned candy store, so it's got barrels of candy and barrels of apples and barrels of pickles and barrels of potatoes and a candy store, and then it's got salami. I mean, what was I thinking?
All right, I gotta go get my other.
Okay. Donna ran downstairs. Donna left.
We're just missing Kim, huh?
Kim's still in closed session. I'll close it so she comes back into open.
Okay, thank you.
Come on.
There were no more public comments, Donna.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can leave it open.
There she is. Okay. All right, I think we have everybody. So we'll reconvene at 7:02 p.m. May I have a motion, please?
A motion.
Motion by member Espinosa,
I'll second.
second by member Smith. A roll call vote. Member Espinosa,
Yes.
member Lynn. Oops, he was here a minute ago. Uh-oh.
I need the mask.
No, I'm not.
Andy, did we lose Mike? Okay,
Where's Monica? Monica's right there. Yeah.
I'm here.
No, Mike. Lynn.
Mike Lynn.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, he was here and
Yeah, he must have, because he would have automatically came back in. I'll wait for him to connect again.
okay, well, we can, I think we can reconvene without him. We'll just, he wasn't there for that. I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
He's back in.
Okay. Member Smith?
Yes.
And Mike, we're reconvening to open session. How do you vote on that?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 5-0. Item 7 is announcement that tonight's meeting is being digitally recorded. And number 8 is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead that tonight. So if everybody will please stand. You can look at Mike's flag.
Ready,
begin. I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance
to
to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all. Item 9 is announcement of actions taken in closed session, and there was no action taken. And item 10 is a special recognition presentation, Temple City High School class of 2020 speakers. And Mr. Lohman is here with us again tonight. Welcome.
Hey guys, how is everybody?
Excellent.
Good. The better question is, how are you? First day of school.
Day one is always fun. I don't know if today was fun. So it was definitely busy, definitely different. One for the memory books for sure. But our teachers came through and our kids came through. Our kids all showed up to learn. Our teachers all showed up to teach. Small little glitches, but we're working through them. So all in all, it was a great day, a very great day for TC. So I have the pleasure tonight to recognize Angela Sue and Jacqueline Rivera. Jacqueline may have school responsibilities, but Angela said she would be here. I don't know if she's in the waiting room or not.
She's here.
She's
Are you here? Okay.
You
So
can see her.
let me just give you a little background about our honorary speakers, and then I'll have Angela say just a few words, okay? So honorary speaker, 3.9 GPA, verified all the way back through 7th grade. Student currently a senior, spent 3 years at TC, received no U's in citizenship or work habits, involved in school and community co-curricular activities, maintains a disciplinary record that is sole judgment of the committee to be free of major transgressions, maintains a attendance record free of excessive and unexcused absences. They have to complete a written essay. They have to allow the committee, which is made up of teachers, counselors, and administrators, to review their academic attendance and disciplinary records. They have to maintain a rigorous academic schedule throughout high school. And they have to be positive academic progress and demonstrated on grading periods. So the last grading period, they have to be showing academic growth. And so within all that, they also have to, normally they say their speech in front of the committee. This year they recorded their speech. And so we had, I believe, 7 people go through the process. And it was a very tough decision. But in the end, Jacqueline and Angela, they rose to the occasion, and it was amazing. So the question I want, are the answers I guess I want Angela to share with us is, how did she feel going through the process? And then how did she feel giving the speech to her class?
Hi, so I'm Angela. Wow, so the first question was like, how did I feel applying, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I didn't know that all those things that you listed earlier, like, wow, I didn't even know those were like prerequisites, but
well, you did them.
yeah, but yeah, it felt I don't know, a little unexpected. I think I had it in the back of my mind end of junior year that I wanted to apply for this, but with just like all of senior year happening, it kind of didn't cross my mind as much. And so when the opportunity came, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it because it was one of my goals. So it was a fun process, and I think it helps me reflect on my senior year as well, and like my whole high school career. And so yeah, it was a good, growthful experience for me, and yeah, I hope it was good for everyone else too.
And then how did you feel giving the speech to your classmates?
It was also like unexpected the way that I had to give my speech when I was contacted that I would be the speaker, or when I saw on the video, I was expecting like, oh, I would be on stage, I would be speaking with the mic, and so I was just thinking in my brain like how I would be doing it, and so I think at first it was a little, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little disappointing that I wouldn't be able to stand on that stage, but it got me thinking like, what's the real reason I'm doing this? Is it for the stage or is it for the message? So yeah, it was also an experience where I got to reflect. Yeah, but it was unique, I think. So that makes it even more special for me, and hopefully for Temple City that it was like one of our, or the first, I think, that was recorded. So yeah.
So your speech then lives on into posterity, right? So it's with us forever because you were recorded. And so I just want to say thank you from the high school for what you and Jacqueline did. I know it was not what you expected, but you both, everyone who applied rose to the occasion, but you and Jacqueline truly stepped up and sharing your words to your class. You know, and they were heartfelt and tear jerking and honest and true. And so the school truly appreciates not only the 4 years you gave us, but the lasting memory you're going to give us with your speech. So from the high school, we say thank you. Donna?
Mr. Lohman, we can watch their speeches on the YouTube channel, is that correct?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, so if anybody hasn't seen them, I already saw them, but I think I'll go watch them again. You can watch them on the Distance YouTube channel. Did anybody have any questions for Angela? I have one, Angela. Where are you going to college? Or what are your future plans?
I'll be attending University of California, Santa Barbara.
Ooh.
Yeah, and my major is in pre-communications.
Great, great. Well, we're really proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
we wish you the best of luck. And please come back and visit us, okay?
Hopefully I can. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, thank you
Angela.
so much. Thank you, Mr. Lohman.
Thank you.
All right, next is item 11, which is public comment on agendized and non-agendized item. And I do have some public comment to read tonight. The first one is to the Board of Education members. We are writing with great concern for our district as we see so many changes being made by the new administrators that are not in line with district procedures. We are longtime employees of the Temple City Unified School District and felt the need to voice some of our concerns. Tomorrow you are being asked, this letter was received yesterday, to approve the reclassification and salary increase of 4 classified positions, and 2 of the positions may not be in line with the Personnel Commission rules and regulations. On 6/24/20, the board approved the classified study that was presented by Monica Makovitz. However, the actual study was not included with the board agenda and is not posted anywhere on the website. We were informed the Personnel Commission approved these reclassifications and pay increases months ago, but there are no current agendas or minutes on the website showing what was approved and the effective dates. And we have been unsuccessful in obtaining copies from personnel. We don't recall seeing anything about these new positions and pay increases anywhere. We also feel that in order for an employee to be classified an executive assistant 2, they should first be able to handle the responsibilities of executive assistant 1. However, this is not the case. This individual has only been with the district 3 years and only 7 months at the district office. The administrative assistant of business services has been here 20 years with vast district knowledge and experience and is only being changed to an executive assistant 1. We are not asking for any changes to this position. We are asking that the board review the attached rules and regulations and reconsider approving the positions that don't meet the guidelines. It is the district practice to fly new positions or the position when someone retires, giving those with seniority and experience opportunity to promote. The administrative assistant of education Educational Services retired in June, and the superintendent secretary was just asked to help out that department and then just assume those responsibilities. When did our practice change to choose who you want for certain positions? We are a small school district and are questioning the justification of promoting the position of secretary to executive assistant 2 with a 21% pay increase, where the others are being changed to office manager. We are in current state of uncertainty with the COVID pandemic, and our enrollment is declining about 100 students each year. Yet we continue to create new positions with high salaries, new positions for current employees, and continue to give increases to select staff members. No matter what we do, we need to follow the rules and regulations, and the board has authority to make any changes at any time. We are hoping this matter is thoroughly reviewed and that the proper decisions are made accordingly. Thank you for your time and consideration. It is much appreciated. Respectfully, Maria Cabrera, Administrative Assistant, Business Services, changing to Executive Assistant 1. Lisa Sefarja, Account Clerk 3, Payroll, changing to Payroll Technician Certificated. Yvonne Wong, Account Clerk 3, Payroll, changing to Payroll Technician Classified. Okay, I have one more public comment, but I think he wants it read when we get to the item, which is item 25. So I will hold on to that one. And we will move on to community update by the board president. The first thing I wanted to do was thank the Kiwanis Club for providing lunch to the district office today. That's very much appreciated, and it was very thoughtful of them to do that. Also, as everyone knows, today was the first day of school, and I want to thank all the staff for the untold hours spent preparing for today. And I want to give a special shout out to those who worked in the heat and the poor air quality distributing the school supplies. There's just really no words to express how much I appreciate all the work that all the staff has done preparing for today. There are a couple of community events coming up that I think everyone might be interested in. Relay for Life is on October 3rd, and as I mentioned at the last meeting, it will be a virtual event, but people are welcome to participate in it. One of the ways you can participate is if you would like to recognize someone who has had cancer or who lost their battle with cancer. You can submit a picture of them that will be used in the video presentation that will be shown on October 3rd. Relay for Life is also selling Luminaria bags. Again, you can dedicate it to someone who has cancer or who has fought and won against cancer or fought and lost. And all this information is on the Temple City Relay for Life website. And then also I wanted to mention that the Camellia Festival is looking at doing some different activities this year, obviously. However, there will be some Camellia Festival celebration. One of the things that's done every year is a theme contest. Normally this is done right after the Camellia Festival, but that is when the pandemic hit, so it got postponed. So that is scheduled to come out sometime probably in the next month. So I want to encourage all of our students to start thinking of great themes for the Camellia Festival and enter the contest when the information comes out. That is all I have for the community update. We'll move on to district updates and start with business services. Marianne Sorrell.
Good evening. Sorry, it's echoing over here. I would like to thank the Oak Avenue PTA for generously donating $3,800 to Oak Avenue. $200 has been earmarked for the music department, $200 for PE and fitness, $3,200 for the marquee or materials and supplies, and $200 for the media center. I'd also like to give an update on the solar panel accident that occurred at Temple City High School on October 10th. A district driver hit one of the solar panels with the edge of the box truck, which caused damage to several solar panels. The electrical collection was rerouted around those damaged panels within 24 hours to allow the district to continue to collect electricity at the site. Maintenance and operations contacted Engie. It's the company that does our maintenance and service of the solar panels. A structural engineer was deployed to evaluate the situation, and we're expecting to get a proposal from them later this week so we can update you on next steps. The overall plan from the accident was that it would be completed by August 10th. Based on the proposal we receive later this week, I can update you. Today, as everyone mentioned, is the first day of school, and food services served 309 lunches today. That's lighter than what we were expecting, but we'll see how the next couple of weeks play out and keep you posted on that. Several months ago, the district applied for personal protective equipment from the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, and we've been waiting to see what we would get and when we would get it. We received an email tonight that our pickup date is September 4th, and so we'll go down to Downey and pick that up. We are receiving adult and child masks, both disposable and cloth, as well as some N95 masks, face shields, hand sanitizer, and thermometers. We're expecting additional PPE in the future, but we don't know what will be included in that, and we'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Educational Services, Hannah Getty.
Good evening. So we made it to day one. I want to send a congratulations and thank you very much to all of our teachers. They were such troopers Monday and Tuesday. They were very patient. I know it was difficult and frustrating because we just couldn't, we were still working things out, trying to get systems to work, and every piece of the puzzle builds on the other. And so trying to get that first foundational piece strong and right, and then build on it. And it just came down to the wire, and they were just awesome to roll with the punches, and great collaboration and feedback. So we were able to really build, I hope, a very supportive environment for all of our staff and teachers as we move forward. We're looking forward to also building out and training more of our classified staff, our instructional aides, our tech at the site, so that they can learn our new platform and be able to be involved as well as we grow in this endeavor. Through today, it was very exciting. A lot of students were coming through the help desk with very minor issues, and parents having some concerns and questions. We have one issue that seems to be affecting a good number of students, and that is just depending on probably the internet speed at their location, connecting in through our server to get through to Clever. So Clever is like our doorway to everything, and it recognizes our students and then gets them into our platform. So we're working out those issues as we speak right now. People are working on trying to configure and continue to add resources so that without traffic, people can get in. And many students, it was very fun. We sent out the student orientation invite, and that's a class made by our new TOSAs. Scott Sherman and Amy Gerling did an awesome job on adapting those for our students. And we sent out invites the night before, and within seconds, students were accepting invites and working on the student orientation. So they were excited to be part of Canvas. And so all in all, it was a really great day. Our teachers did such a great job with organizing the Zooms and getting to welcome the students. Many parents and students were very grateful for the warm feeling that was created in such a difficult environment. And so I think we're off to a really good start, and we're excited to see what we can do. Dr. Gomez is working with our curricular platforms as we build those into Canvas. She's done a great job to get us those online resources at the deepest integration level possible for what the systems provide for us. So we are working to get everything built in. And I would say over the next couple of weeks, we'll continue to build out Canvas and have more and more resources available. So I just wanted to thank everybody that was involved. And again, really appreciate our teachers for really stepping up and taking on this difficult challenge.
Okay, thank you very much. Personnel Services, Monica Makovitz.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to congratulate everyone on a first day. As a parent using Canvas, it's a great system. I just hope to learn more quicker so I can help my two young ones. But I do want to take a shout out to the personnel department. We are almost finished hiring. I believe in the last 3 weeks, we've hired almost 30 people. and process them. So to get them in time for the start of the school year, we still have a few positions to hire as support staff, but we will carry that on through next week and get that finished. All staff, open enrollment for health benefits. You will get information soon from American Fidelity, giving you options to keep your insurance the same, update your insurance, or do any additional add-ons in terms of retirement or anything else that you might need. So Juris and Lucy will be sending that out shortly for you to be able to schedule and change stuff online or meet with someone online. So we appreciate your patience in that. In the next few weeks, and Mrs. Getty and myself will be sending out information on mandated reporter training, sexual harassment, and our Title IX training for our administrators. Mandated reported is every year. Sexual harassment training is every 2 years, and Title IX with the new federal changes, we will just get all our administrators up to date in the next month or so. But I do appreciate everybody's patience and welcoming our new staff members. The executive team had a chance to visit every site today and every department, and it was nice just to see people excited about the first day of school and working hard. I know a lot of people are working remotely, but we had a chance to see you in action, and we appreciate all your efforts. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 14 is bargaining unit comments, and I understand, Ellen, you wanted to speak again? Is that correct?
Well, yes, originally, if we had a much larger audience, I was going to reread something that I had read earlier at closed session, but I don't feel that it's necessary since we have 20 people here. But I did want to just say thank you. I had a wonderful first day. I set myself up for success by setting the bar really low, and then I was able to exceed it and be successful. So I'm really excited about tomorrow, and I'm gonna set the bar a little higher for tomorrow and every day, just make some gains. I wanted to tell you that as of last night, Kyla Yurtsted is our president.
Oh, yay, Kyla.
I don't know who's happier, Kim or me. So welcome, Kyla, and thank you. And since this just happened last night, we just thought it would be better if I speak. And so I think we can look forward to seeing Kyla in the future. So thank you and good night. Bye.
Thank you, Ellen. Robin, did you want to say anything else? Oops. Okay. And CSEA 823, Art Contreras, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I have a couple of things I want to say. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you. First, I want to wish luck on the board members that are running this upcoming election. Good luck with that. I hope things work out. I see some names already out there on the lawn signs, so you know, good to see that. And Monica and Marianne, I want to thank you for us coming into an agreement with our MOU. There was not a lot of back and forth, and we came to an agreement pretty fast. And I think we've developed a good relationship to where we can hash things out without it getting ugly. And, you know, working with you for these 7 months, it's been a good experience, a real good experience.
Thank you, Art.
You're welcome. And last, I want to, as you guys know, last week it was rough, hot out there in the heat, distributing all the supplies to our students. And I want to say, this team that we have here at the high school, these administrators, they're top notch. Everybody was doing what needed to be done. The teamwork was there. I couldn't have been any prouder. Richard, Elena, Ben, Annie, they were awesome. We were out there dying in the heat, and we kept pushing, and these kids got what they needed, and it was an experience, and I got to give them a big thumbs up. I got you, the board, I'd like you to know that there's a good team here at this high school. I've seen the revolving door where administrators come and go. And I want to see that pin lock in this door now because these guys need to stay with us.
Good.
They're everybody's works well together. The spirits are high. It's an awesome feeling to be part of this crew here. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. We appreciate everything you do too. Next is item 16, board member comments. And tonight it is board member Smith's turn to go first.
Okay, well, thank you. I'd like to start off with the graduation ceremony we had 2.5 weeks ago. This is actually the 17th Temple City High School graduation ceremony that I've participated in. And I will say it was the most fun. It really was a lot of fun. It was long and I had a horrible backache the next day, but it was nice to see the parents drive through, let out their student, the student up on stage, waving, the parents cheering them on. I mean, it was fun. So kudos to everybody who participated in designing that, and I can't say enough, so thank you. Then I'd like to say congratulations to everybody for making it through the first day, as others have already said. It's been an immense planning effort undertaken by the superintendent, her cabinet, and staff for the last many months, and it's changed many times, but I think it went really well, and congratulations for that. I have also had a chance to get around town a little bit more recently and talk to a lot of people and really received kudos from everybody about the great job that was done in terms of passing things out and orchestrating that. I got a little worried. I went down Oak Avenue one day and the line from the high school was backed up down Lemon and halfway down Oak to the, what's called Casa Robles. And so that's a long line, and I understood it was a couple hour wait, and I apologize on behalf of the district for that. But even through that, I heard from several high school parents, excuse me, who went through that and thought it was worth the time, and they were a little frustrated about it, but it was, it was well done. It was well orchestrated. So kudos to everybody for that. And I kind of was looking forward to hearing Ellen's little presentation again, but we didn't get it. But she had some really kind things to say about everybody before we went into closed session. So that was very nice. And I'd like to thank her for that. I'd like to welcome Kyla and wish her well, and look forward to having future meetings with you. And Donna mentioned the Relay for Life on October 3rd, and looking forward to making the best of that. There's been some pretty interesting things. Jerry put together a nice little video, and they used the Ashokian Farewell song, which is what they traditionally play at the Oak Avenue Graduate, as the music for that, and it turned out real nice, and would encourage people to go to the Relay for Life website and take a look at what's going on for that. And then I guess that's it. I'll just stay there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. Next is board member Espinosa.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to start off with saying thank you to the many staff members and volunteers who toughed it out in the heat at registration. I know my husband was there one day volunteering, and by then it was like clockwork. They had everybody in and out of there, and everybody toughed it out. And like Art said, the team and the volunteers came together, and so, just couldn't be more proud of that group. I also want to just congratulate everybody on the first day of school. It's the first day jitters. I think everybody had them because this is like, uncharted territory. And so thank you so much to all the teachers. I'm super thankful to the teachers, the administrators, and the staff for all working so hard to plan to get to this day. So very much appreciated. Graduation, that was, like Matt said, a great day. It was very well planned out. Families made the most of it. I recalled even a couple families had rented, party buses with their families in it. And I just loved that idea. So that was so great, very creative. And again, just just the character of our families. This is what they do. We just make the best of it. So thank you so much for the planning of that. I did attend the grad night committee meeting that was held last Wednesday, and I would encourage students at the high school that are seniors to fill out the online survey related to grad night. I believe it was provided to you, the link to that was provided to you at registration. So please do fill that out so we can be sure to hear your voice in making decisions about grad night. And then lastly, I want to thank the Oak PTA for their very generous donations to Oak Avenue Middle School. It really shows the importance of community partnership. And when we work together, we do better for our students. So, you know, I think this exemplifies that. So thank you, Oak PTA.
Oops. Sorry. Thank you. Next is Member Nolenberg.
Okay. I just like to thank everybody for the grad night. And I think a lot of people found it very convenient for the cars to come with the students up front. They got nice pictures. They probably got better pictures than they usually do. The parents did. And I like to thank also the Temple City High School people for its presentation, both of the speakers and of the grad night that they put on, and the other stuff that Temple City High School has done to help the board get through the day. And I like to thank all the students for the first day of school today, and hopefully it goes better each day. I like to thank also all the superintendents and all the assistant superintendents and all the parents and students for their hard work and continued hard work on solving our problems for the board and other people. Thank you very much.
Okay, anything else? All right, I am next on the list. I would like to thank the Oak Avenue PTA for all their donations. And I know some of the other schools also had some donations from their PTAs. I believe at La Rosa, they donated little whiteboards, and Emperor, they donated something there too. So I want to thank all the PTAs, and I want to encourage everyone, if you're not a member of PTA, to join, because they do a lot of great things for our schools. And this year it's a little more difficult to join. So please make the effort to get that application and to join one of the PTAs. On August 6th, we had a meeting with the City of Temple City, and it was a very positive meeting. We're working on building a collaborative relationship with them, and I look forward to some more positive things coming out of that. See, also graduation was fabulous. I was really impressed. It was so well organized, and everything was so nice and so special. I think I've mentioned before that I was watching other schools' graduations the last few months, and I think by far ours was the best one. It was really great. So congratulations to everyone involved in that. And last but not least, I participated, or I observed, the La Rosa Back to School night. It was the last couple nights. It was a little more difficult to get to the classrooms because I had to go to a separate Zoom meeting for each of them. It wasn't like just walking out a door and walking to the next room. So I didn't quite catch all the teachers, but I think I caught most of them. And I was really impressed with what these teachers are putting forth for this coming year. There was some very creative, you could tell they spent a lot of time thinking about how to present the curriculum to the students and how to make it interesting and distance learning. And so congratulations to all of the teachers at La Rosa. And I look forward to the back to school nights at the other schools, because I'm sure they have great things planned too. Okay, last but not least is Dr. Lynn.
Thank you, Donna. Good evening, everyone. I would like to congratulate our schools for welcoming our students back to a new school year. I would like to thank our staff and employee associations for your dedication and teamwork. I would like to thank our parents and guardians for your trust and support. Many are serving as co-teachers at home. Great job, Angela Hsu. We are proud of you. Good luck at UC Santa Barbara and your major in pre-communications. As we're at the start of this new school year, I would like to say that our classrooms, no matter what the setting, serve as the point of connection for much more than education. They help us all recognize, understand, and appreciate our differences. We have a responsibility to make sure we are doing our part to foster empathy and compassion. Our schools are the diverse learning environments where our youth can learn acceptance and belonging. We believe deeply in ensuring students are healthy, supported, engaged, challenged, safe, and socially and emotionally intelligent. Our district has put policies and practices into place to make sure that everyone in the TCUSD community has the opportunity to learn and work in an environment where they can be treated with dignity and respect, free from bullying, harassment, microaggression, xenophobia, bigotry, homophobia, and racism. Jacob Blake, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and the too many African Americans throughout American history who have been gunned down, unarmed. I would like to say to all our African American students and staff, you matter. Black lives matter. Not more, not less. We see you, we support you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next is item 17, and that's our superintendent's comments.
Perfect, thank you. First and foremost, I just want to let Ellen know that it was a pleasure working with you all last year. And through my time here with you, I think that we've built a very, very strong relationship, and I hope that you don't get too far in the background, because we will definitely reach out to you along the way for your leadership and your guidance. And so I want to say thank you for all that you've done over the past year, and that we will miss you as the union president. To that end, I just want to welcome Kyla as the new president. And so Kyla, we've worked together throughout the past year as well. And the same thing goes, I think that we built an incredible partnership. I think that we collaborate very well, and that you do have the freedoms of expressing the needs of our staff, and that, you know, we problem solve together to meet those needs. So I do appreciate you stepping forward. I look forward to working with you, and I know that we will have a great working relationship moving in this direction. So welcome. To that, I want to just say that I cannot believe that this is the first day of school. I think all summer we have been planning and plotting and replanning and replotting to open up schools in a variety of different ways. And I think that that challenge has been insurmountable. And so to come to the first day of school is a bit surreal, to be honest. And so I just want to thank every person who had a hand in preparing for opening day, from the way our grounds look to our facilities, to the personalized equipment, then the protective equipment that is put in place, to the shields, to the signs and the little posters indicating you're 6 feet apart and wearing your mask, and all of those things that we need to do to keep each other healthy and safe, because that is our top priority. And it is our top priority to welcome our students back on to a virtual platform instead of a physical platform. So that this is really an unprecedented opening. But I could not be more proud to go through all of the decision-making processes that we went through to offer a learning management system, a robust learning management system for all of our students and for all of our staff, and to equip that learning management system with every resource and tool we possibly could in the short amount of time that we had to make sure that our teachers had every opportunity to provide the education and the quality of education that Temple City is known for to our students, and that our students have the access to receive that education and that instruction from our staff. With that, I just want to take a moment to reach out to the school site classified individuals who spent many of their time imaging computers and passing out student materials and making sure that the health and safety precautions were put in place, and making sure that they were there to answer parent phone calls and guide and direct the launch of the opening of school. Specifically to our certificated staff, I appreciate and implore your willingness to learn and redefine the way you do your job, and that the way you are as a professional in an online learning environment, and the embrace and the robust boldness that you have in tackling this challenge head on and making sure that you are going to be a part of the solutions and make sure that our students had access to the highest quality of education that Temple City is known for. So thank you very, very much to all of our certificated staff. You are heroes more than you know. And if no one else tells you, we all and the Board of Education thanks you very, very much. To our site staff administrators, there's no way to explain to everyone all of the input that you've had along the way, the guidance, the direction, what's going to work, what's not going to work, and making sure that every detail is put in place when it was needed to hand out devices and hand out student materials, and then open up school and make sure that, you know, all the way down to lunches were served and parents' questions were answered. So thank you very much for all of our site admin who kind of made this a reality on each of our campuses today. To the superintendent's task force and the tech committee, those two committees were insurmountable in making this day happen. We couldn't have done that without the robust discussions, the honest discussions, the collaboration to make sure that where there was needs, we tried to meet those needs, and how we had to provide resources and support was really built around what our staff was telling us that they needed, and we try to fit that support to the needs that were coming forth. So to all of those who dedicated their time this summer on those task force and on that committee, I thank you for that. To my district office team, there's no words that can possibly explain the insurmountable task that was before us. And there's no better team that I would want to lead us through this and lead us into this new era of education. The tech department was definitely on the forefront. We did have to add resources and support and people to that effort to make sure that the systems came online, they integrated together, devices were imaged. It was quite a party here in the boardroom, several days, 4 in fact, of 16-hour days, imaging devices, walking side by side with all of you, laughing with all of you, and knowing that the job we were doing was going to make a tremendous difference when every student got a device when they went through the lines to check out their materials. They have access to the digital curriculum that sits on those devices, and also the safety software that they will keep them safe in an online environment, which was critically important to us as well. To the curriculum instruction team and to the special education team, I thank you. You had a hard task of making everything sit on a learning management system and fold in seamlessly. To the people who came alongside, in specific, Carrie Smith, Cindy Ayala, and Sylvia Mock, who managed the enrollment numbers of students as they fluctuated in and out and made sure that everyone had an account, everyone had provisions, and everyone was rostered to the correct teacher in the correct section. That is no small feat. And to do all of this within a 100-day period was almost doing the impossible. And finally, least but not forgotten at all, I saved Hannah Getty to the last. The student service, this was a big student services issue. And we had to make sure that we got it right on a social emotional level, not only for our staff, but for our students. And we also had to make sure that all of these systems integrated seamlessly. And to the 16, 18-hour days that we put in, every single day, 7 days a week, there's no words to thank you enough. If it weren't for your efforts and the collaboration of your team and student services, we would not have made it to the starting line. And so I wish I could tell you that your work is done. It's probably not, because if you notice, I said it, this was the starting line, and we have a ways to go. The educational platform that we are putting forward in Temple City is really on the forward edge of education. And this will and should carry Temple City forward and allow the teachers to be the robust instructional leaders that they want to be in their classrooms. The system will only get better. It will only get more involved. It will only get more innovative as time goes on and we tweak and change and we work together with our union partners to make sure that we are putting forward the best educational system possible. And to the Board of Education who took risks on us and took chances on us and just believed in the mission and in the vision of what we were trying to accomplish, and in the union who did as well, and in the staff who came alongside in those committees, I just want to say thank you. And I wish you a very well second day of school. And I thank you after visiting all of the sites and seeing some of you. It was so good to see you. I am very proud of your first day of school. So with that, I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Kim. And they weren't the only ones that worked hard. You worked very hard too, and we recognize that and we appreciate it. Item 18 is written communications. I have two. One was an anonymous note regarding our hiring practices. And the other one was a letter from the California Department of Education regarding our LCAP federal addendum, I'm sorry. It has been scheduled for approval on September 10th and 11th. And so congratulations to our staff for putting that together and having all the components that were necessary so that we could get it approved. And it will be on the website prior to approval. Next is, we'll move on to our discussion information items. Number 19 is equity and inclusion update. And before Dr. Fricker gives us an update, oh, did you want me to read the statement right now, Kim? Okay, I'm gonna read a statement that went out on August 14th. It says, Dear Temple City Unified staff, parents, guardians, and community members. Across our country and within our community, the Temple City Unified community feels the anger and frustration that racism and maltreatment of others cause. It is a sadness that has left an ugly scar across the face of our nation. Our hearts break for any person or persons who have been the victim of cultural insensitivity, racism, and maltreatment. We wholeheartedly commit to the elimination of racism, bullying, discrimination, intimidation, and injustice of others. Our hearts go out to the African American community as we all seek healing for the horrific loss of George Floyd. We firmly believe that every Black life matters and that all human life has value and should be protected. This disregard for human life and blatant inequality has focused our purview on institutional racism and educational inequities that exist within our school district, community, and country. The Temple City Unified School District and Board of Education have become aware of the profound impact that racism, discrimination, and maltreatment has had on our alumni, students, and community members. In hearing testimonials and observing the emotional impact that these instances have had on the lives of our most precious students, both myself and the Board of Education acknowledge their pain and commit to be forces for change to bring about an end to racism, cultural insensitivity, injustice, discrimination, and maltreatment. We simply must do better as a unified school district. as a community, and as human beings. We commit to creating a safe, inclusive, and accepting educational environment for all our students. We commit to standing against racism, sexism, discrimination, harassment, bullying, intimidation, injustice, maltreatment, inequality, racial intensity, barriers to access, brutality, and violence. We commit to ongoing and targeted training for all staff with regard to access, cultural acceptance, awareness, inclusion, implicit bias, discrimination, and racism. We commit to implement social emotional learning curricular modules, the California Anti-Racism Standards upon release from the CDE, and positive behavior intervention support across the district. We commit to the continual improvement of the educational environment and school climates that our students and staff experience. We uphold the responsibility bestowed to us to serve, protect, honor, and safeguard the rights, freedoms, and opportunities given to all students. We firmly commit to partnering with the voices for change that are aligned to eliminating hate and discrimination with love and compassion. We commit to incorporating culturally relevant and inclusive literature, curriculum, and reflective historical content into our courses of study so that all students identify with instructional content. We greatly appreciate the voices of the TC for Change movement. We look forward to positive and sustainable change within our school district and community. And it's sincerely Kimberly Fricker, Superintendent of Schools. So thank you for doing that, Dr. Fricker.
You're welcome. And now that I just wanted to give you an update, we have been working with student group and alumni groups to really look at the inequalities that do exist within our unified school district or our community, and see which ways that we can put in programs or processes or practices that help move this initiative forward and make every single educational environment that our students participate in a safe one and a secure one, and one that they feel warm and welcome and accepted. So really, to that end, our goal is to build and foster an inclusive educational environment based on the principles of acceptance and inclusion for all of our students. I think this has been a mission that this board has come together on when you first reunited about 1.5 years ago, and when I joined the team as well. I think this was an initiative that is near and dear to me. We would like to make an environment where students can see themselves reflective in the curriculum, the physical surroundings, and in our community. Yeah. And we also want to make sure that diversity is honored and that all individuals are respected. This requires continual and mindful focus on inclusivity, accessibility, equity, and social respect and social justice. So this remains our commitment. And then moving forward, the commitments that Ms. Georgino, you just read are the same commitments that are outlined here that we are going to guide this work through. So I don't want to repeat them because you just read them. The Temple City Unified School District Board of Education does have policies regarding non-discrimination, and that would be board policy 0410. And it also has policies that are pre-established on creating positive school culture. That's board policy 5137. Both of those policies, we are currently going through our board policies and updating them so that they do have the current reflective language. We do anticipate that some of these board policies will be updated again with different iterations here in the near future. When that does happen, they will come up for board approval to be reflective of all current laws, regulations, and governance structures of the state of California. We do have board policies both on the student side and on the staff side for non-discrimination and harassment, and that would be board policy 5145.9. And then we have board policy 5145.9 on hate motivated behavior. Making sure that whenever we put board policy in place, those come before the board, they are voted on by the board. If there's any changes, the board is aware of what those changes are. And then with board approval, because the board does oversee the governance structure of the district, they do oversee the implementation or the approval of the policy. The district administration sees the implementation of that policy. So from this point forward, when those policies are put in place, we then make our principals and assistant principals aware of what those policies are and what the governance structures that we have to abide by. So we do put those in place, and that is an annual process that both the board and the administrative team goes through each year. So supporting all dimensions of equity, we want to make sure that we create awareness with an educational focus on equity, diversity, inclusion, and just an acknowledgement of historical barriers, and then an identification of where there currently still is barriers, or where there are situations where there is a denial of access or lack of access to a certain degree, or denial of inclusion or lack of inclusion to any degree. This does require that we just do a self-evaluation of school sites and of the district on an annual basis to make sure that we are looking at all of those activities that we put forward, those programs, those policies or practices, to make sure that we don't have any area that could be exclusionary to any individual student group and or parent group. And where there are, that we make those changes and amendments so that we are more inclusive and acceptive in our practices. We also want to understand implicit and overt bias. We've begun that training last year. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And we will continue that moving forward. We do want to strongly support advocacy. A lot of times bringing things to the forefront, bringing things to awareness is often the key to beginning the momentum or the ball of change. And that is absolutely what we would want. We want to make sure that we do that in a very respectful manner and that we are as inclusive as possible. But we do want to identify current barriers to equity and inclusion and make sure that we address them as quickly as we can. And then support acceptance of a caring culture. And making sure that our students feel warm and welcome and accepted into our educational environment. And then finally, we do want to put together a plan to create positive social change and positive inclusionary change across our district. We've begun that work. We're only at the start of this, meaning that this is the work that we have begun, the Board of Education and myself as a superintendent, and we intend to move that forward while we are all in our current roles. So move forward. The Board of Education statement of support. Thank you, Ms. Georgino, for reading our statement of support. We had previously issued a statement of support. We wanted to update that and to make sure that we are currently reflective of the social movement as it changes across our country and across our state. And so we will continue to amend those statements moving forward as needed. But we do want to make sure that there is an emphatic commitment by the Board of Education and district administration towards creating equity, access, safety, and respect for every individual within the school organization and addressing discrimination and maltreatment of any kind. That is our firm commitment, and there is no wavering of that. Just in addition, I want to make mention and just remind that the Board of Education did adopt board policy in a resolution 0415. It was an equity resolution that was recently put out by CSBA. We didn't currently have that prior, but when it was released, the Board of Education took immediate action and approved that resolution and that equity policy. So I just want to commend the board for that. That was approved in July of 2020. And again, we had not had it prior. So this was the first time that we were able to approve that and adopt that. Moving on to focus on access, inclusion, and equity. This would be for the 1920 school year. Just a recap of some of the things that we have done last year. We launched an initiative to increase inclusion of our special education population of students into the general education setting. And we did want to make sure that supports and structures and that evolution of that process moves forward. We still have a bit to go, a bit of work to do on this. And I think the bigger thing is the inclusion of students, but also in the preparation and support that needs to go along with it. These are really two things that go in tandem. We just can't have one without the other. So we do need to have more work done on supporting our staff and supporting the structures to make the students as successful as possible in all learning environments. But we do have a commitment to doing that, and we'll have continued work on that. We want to continue to open access to our AP and honors courses, making sure that the students have the ability to reach the academic challenge that they desire to do. And in doing that as well, I think this is where our partnership comes in with union leadership to make sure that our staff has the supports. We have interventions put in place, and we have the safety nets put in place for students so that they can be successful. And if they are struggling or if they need assistance, that we do provide that assistance. So again, this is the initiative that has been put forward. We want to continue this forward and make sure that we're working with both the staff and the students to support them equally in that process. We are asking principals, we did ask principals in the past year to identify any areas or activities or programs, programming that they currently put in place that has maybe an access barrier or an area where it's limiting in its an inclusionary purpose. And so we want to make sure that we are aware, we critically think through those things, and we try to identify any area that could be exclusionary or limit student or family access. So we have asked our staff to do that. We will continue to ask our principals to look at those things and examine those things annually so that we can remove some of those barriers should they exist. We have initiated positive behavioral intervention support, or PBIS, across our district. This was started at the elementaries and it now grew up into Oak Avenue this past year. So we are gradually increasing that program year after year in the district. And this is rewarding students' positive behavior while decreasing negative behavior with counseling techniques and or education to create awareness of different choices students can make and more positive choices that they could make in situations. We will continue that initiative. We have not reached its full capacity at this time, but that is something that the district is very interested in seeing forward. And then we want to increase counseling support. We have added a DIS counselor. That counselor does have a higher licensure than the academic counselor would. So with students with elevated needs or more needs that need more support, this counselor is able to provide. We are currently gathering student data for the first time. And as we get data and as we see where needs arise, we will then continue to amend or tweak our support programs to meet that need. This counselor, I do feel, and we do feel, will be of great support to the high school level. And then again, we'll be reviewing that data to see where any other tweak or change may need to come in the future. And then finally, like I had said before, continually updating the board policies on inclusion, discrimination, harassment, intimidation, and maltreatment, making sure that all of our policies are up to date and that they are followed implicitly through the district. And then moving on to student and employee accountability. We do have sexual harassment training and mandated reporter training that is conducted from year to year with our staff. The sexual harassment training is every other year. Mandated reporter is every year. And we want to make sure that our staff undergoes those trainings to ensure that we keep our students and our staff safe. Every staff member does sign a code of ethics, and it also assigns a technology use agreement. So we can make sure that they have the most updated information on the use of their technology, and now more than ever, since we're in a learning environment that's online. But we do want to make sure that all staff members sign on, and the district the same way. And then we did standardize the investigation process for complaints, how we handle complaints, manage complaints. We do have a complaints officer, and that they do the investigations. They work with staff, they work with students, they work with parents or families, whomever is making the complaint. And then we make sure that we see that through and correspond back. The personnel office is responsible to hold staff and propriety accountable. We do work with our union leadership anytime there is a complaint or allegation, and then we make sure that we protect the integrity of the individuals going through that process. And then our Office of Student Services is responsible to hold student impropriety accountable, along with the site administration. So I know that if there are infractions between students, that is the office that works with the site principal to manage those complaints as well. Professional development, I broke it apart into the 2018-19 school year and then into the 19-20 school year. So in the 18-19 school year in the spring, we did conduct training for all staff on our staff professional development day, and that was on Shred Hate. It was a program that was brought in on to teach the staff about cultural sensitivity and inclusion, and creating inclusion and inclusionary environments within the classroom, understanding acceptance of others, and that students come from a variety of different backgrounds and cultural experiences, and those things can be blended into the classroom in a very positive way. We also did administrative risk training. We do that training every other year for our staff, for our administrative staff rather, and that's really to go through that investigative and that when there are complaints, that investigative process and how to manage and handle those complaints accurately. In the 19-20 school year, we did have personal impact and suicide prevention training. This was done by Kevin Briggs. It was at our kickoff meeting, and this was to ensure that we were complying with the training on suicide prevention that all school districts were required to implement. And it did create the awareness of how our words and actions impact others and impact other people's lives. And we don't really know everything that's going on in someone's life, but we do know that given their situation, our words and our actions can have a tremendous impact on them. And we want to make sure that we are treating people with respect and acceptance, and that they are not feeling the negative or the disrespect or the maltreatment, which can often lead to suicide ideation. And we know that that is a very big concern across our nation for our youth. So we want to make sure that we educate our staff, and we also educate our students on how to prevent that and who to tell. The positive behavior support, I mentioned that training came from LACO, and it does recognize the positive behavior, and it does educate through understanding for when students have negative behaviors. Then in addition to that, we did start the implicit bias training within our PBIS teams, again, in our elementary schools and at Oak Intermediate. That was done by LACO as well. And then we are hopeful to expand that training this year and then going into next year as well, to make sure that our staff is aware and just very, very conscious about just the little things that we do, the nuances of what you do that you may not even be aware of that could have a negative effect on somebody. With curriculum and instruction, the current curriculum and instruction adoptions that really deal with inclusion, we are currently going through our language arts of high school adoption this year. We are piloting some materials, and in that materials is inclusive of the state approved curriculum and standards. They are focused on a highly integrated student population. And so we want to emphasize that. We do go through a standardized curriculum adoption process where our staff is involved in looking at and analyzing the materials that would be put forward to the board for approval of that adoption. And then that would include the standardized textbooks, but it would also include ancillary materials. So we're going to go through the same process that we normally would. It's outlined by the CDE for any adoption and approval of text and or curriculum materials that all of our teachers would be putting forth with fidelity inside of the classroom. The history, social science, TK-12 adoption is on the horizon. The frameworks have been out by the state. I think that we are looking at an adoption year of 24-25. And so we're looking at just where the frameworks lie and when the most updated curriculum would be available for us to go through a pilot and then go through the adoption process. In the history, social science framework, there is relevant curriculum and standards based on inclusion, and they've widened the lens of diversity to include a variety of groups to be represented and reflected inside of the curriculum material. And so our staff would again form a committee and they would look at the possible option of vendors. They would look at all of the curriculum material, and then they would go through and select a pilot, and then they would go through the pilot process. So curriculum and adoption is a 2 to 3 year total process for complete implementation. It's usually a pilot year, followed by the adoption, followed by the first year of implementation, and then a second year of implementation where the staff has training in both of those years to fully implement the curriculum. Moving on to the implementation of diversity curriculum. We do know that the governor and Tony Thurmond are working on diversity curriculum standards. Many of the superintendents have been involved in surveys or informational gathering on the guidance and direction of those standards. And so they have not been completed yet, but we are, greatly anticipating the conclusion of the formulation of those standards, and then those would be then put forward to the Board of Education for approval and adoption when they are released from the CDE. So that is just a matter of time, but we do know that those standards are in the works, and we kind of anticipate them arriving. With regard to new classes, there's recommendations or there's suggestions, especially from our alumni, on like an ethnics class or a diversity class. Some of those things definitely can be up for consideration. There is a process for the new classes to be proposed, and it does require a credentialed teacher to teach them. It does require the state approved curriculum, UCCSU approval if they are going to be a high school course where you're going to get credit and you want transferable credit that qualifies for college admission, and then funding for the course. So we do go through that process with our principals at the start of the school year, so that if there are any suggestions for new courses to be added, they have plenty of time within the year to get that accomplished and the board take approval in order to be ready and set for the school year. It does take us a bit of time to go through that approval process. And it does take us the time to acquire the curriculum, and in some cases the funding for that. But there is a standardized process to move that forward, and we will be working with principals to kind of work with their schools and their staff on that. With regard to program specialists, we are proposing that we look at a program specialist for equity and outreach. We know that this is an initiative that needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed globally within our country, within our community. And so someone focused on making sure that we put in a plan that is reflective of our goals, our aspirations, and the things that the Board of Education and the administration is committed to. We want to make sure that we do justice to that initiative and make it one of our top priorities. So as we build out those plans, we just want to make sure that we have all the resources in order to do that. Awareness and advocacy. Here are some of the areas where we are garnering feedback. A lot of what guides our decisions and our policy making or our administrative decisions is gathering information. We do gather information from, and we will be working with the Associated Student Body or ASB or student councils down at the elementary level. We are gathering information from the California Healthy Kids Survey. This is a survey that can come out every other year or every year. We've elected to run that survey every year. We haven't done so in the past, so we want to get some good student feedback and data on health, safety, security of students. And then we're also working with our DLAC committee, which is our District English Learner Advisory Committee, Health and Wellness Committee, LCAP Committee, looking at Link Crew and Web. Those are the two leadership groups at either the high school and or Oak Avenue. We want to work with our Parent Teacher Advisory Association and make sure that their voice is reflective of this initiative. Our school site councils, our student and staff, reports and testimonials. Those are very important to us, and to hear their voice and to hear the stories that they share, so that they do have a larger impact on, creating a better environment for the students who come after them. Of course, the superintendent's advisory team, and then we are working with our alumni association, and that is the Temple City for Change group. So we look forward to working with that student group as well. We did have one meeting with Temple City for Change already, and we've already scheduled the next meeting to meet with that group in the near future. And I believe that Ms. Espinosa is going to be on that meeting with us. So we welcome you to that group. And then we just want to make sure that we move this initiative forward with the time sensitivity that it requires. And then with that, next steps, we are going to have targeted training, again, with our staff on inclusion, awareness, implicit bias, discrimination, and racism. In talking to the Temple City for Change group, one young lady made a very poignant comment, and that when we do talk about this initiative, we often leave out the word racism, and that's not intentional. I did thank her for the comment, and we will make a very conscious effort to make sure that that is included in this mission moving forward. As we do have a zero tolerance policy, we do not want to have any racism or maltreatment of students of any kind. We are going to continue with anti-harassment, bullying training. And new this year is going to be Title IX training. It's a different lens of awareness, but they did change the Title IX laws. And so we want to make that reflective throughout our district. Positive behavior intervention will be a thing that moves forward as it integrates through our school system. We do want to provide social justice training and implicit bias training for the staff in the year to come, and then moving into the following year as well. With that, any questions that you may have from any of the board members?
So it's Melissa. In light of the news about Jacob Blake's killing in Wisconsin, I'm glad to be having this discussion today, and glad knowing that we will continue to have dialogue on this topic because it's so important. I also want to thank you for posting the August 14th statement to our website, because I think that was an important step to let the public know what our stance is on it. So I thank you for that. In looking at your presentation, I think we've laid a great solid foundation for our staff, and there's a great solid plan of continuing education for staff on this topic. So, good job with the approach there. I feel like we need to kind of have some more focus on, how do we break the cycle with students, right? How do we, teach empathy for all different types of national origins, races, all of it, every protected category issue. And so I think it comes down to curriculum. And I don't know, what is the timeline on curriculum, and is there not some curriculum already available related to ethnic studies? Because I've seen, other school districts talking about implementing ethnic studies.
So yes, there is. There are pre-canned, if you will, classes on ethnic studies that are already UCCSU approved. They've already kind of gone through the channels of approval. Those are definitely in those new course adoptions that we can, move forward. Of course, you would have to run that through. It's usually in the social science department, and it's normally at the high school level. I can go down to that intermediate level as well, but it's the high school level that needs to garner the UCCSU approval on it. We can definitely work with our teams, our administrators, or the social science department, should that be something that they want to bring forward to the board.
Yeah, I think it's the one thing that I found to be missing from the next steps. So if you could consider it, I think it would be a great, robust kind of bring everything together step. So thank you.
So,
And just to add on, there is social emotional, curriculum that is available that does go to the lower grades. There's programs that are actually geared towards building those interrelational skills between young people, that I know that we have started a bit of that, but definitely there's room, not necessarily as a class, but there's room to integrate, differently at the different levels.
Yeah, I think all levels need something, whatever's appropriate for their age level.
so if I may chime in, I mean, this is a very thorough, outstanding, excellent presentation, Kim. The question about ethnic studies, AB 331, I don't think it passed. If we were to implement AB 331, even though the intention was for more of the universities, and we were going to look at this from a high school standpoint,
yeah,
I would say that we certainly will have to not discount the horrors of the Holocaust and acknowledge the effects of the Jewish experience as well, because we don't want to, be exclusive of any groups and histories by eliminating, erasing histories. I mean, that is the perception of AB 331 ethnic studies, where we don't want to pit one group against another, because the intention is really inclusivity. So I want to caution how we approach this, that we approach it from a point of inclusivity and not excluding one group over another.
I completely agree. And I think when we talk about a new course along those lines, there's a variety. Like, we would have to look to see what are the classes are available that are already pre-configured and pre-approved from UCCSU, the doorway system. That is the college admission, where it would actually garner college admission approval on that A through G scale. And so the next step would really be to go work with the principals, and then go work with the social science department, and just look at what our options are, and then come back with, recommendation one way or the other for the Board of Education, should we want to pursue that in that vein. So it's very difficult for me to make a determination or decision, because it's larger than myself. And we would need to come together as that group. But I do agree with you. We want to make it very inclusive of people, and reflective of a variety of different groups and different individuals, and the struggles, the barriers, and the things that we have to overcome, and the things that we have to see, and that will allow us to change perspective or widen our perspective in terms of seeing each other as humans, and creating a sense of humanity that we can really teach our children.
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you very much for that presentation. Item 20 is the Citizens Oversight Committee Annual Report. Marianne, did you want to introduce this?
So I would like to thank all of the new members to the Citizens Oversight Committee, and the members that have stayed on the committee, and thank Mrs. Aparicio for coming tonight to present their annual report to the board.
Hey, thank you, Marianne. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay. Good evening, board members, Dr. Fricker, and guests. It is a pleasure to bring you annual report for the Measure S Citizens Oversight Committee. My name is Gina Aparicio, and I am the new chairperson on the committee. On February 26, 2020, 4 new members were board approved. I would like to introduce the members of the committee who are present tonight. First, I'd like to introduce Miss Ann Seitz. She's the vice chairperson for the committee, and she's a new member. Next, we have Mr. George Gould, who is a new member. Next, we have Miss Sunny Lowe, new member. Next, we have Bernadette Marjanovic. I hope I didn't slander your name. You're a new member. And Mr. Bill Schaefer is a continuing member. And Mr. Stephen Tyree has been a member of the committee for many years. And he resigned, but we'd like to thank him for his many years of dedicated service to the Citizens Oversight Committee. The Measure S Citizens Oversight Committee conducted business meetings in accordance with our bylaws, which included budget updates and project status reports. The committee met on the following dates: August 20, 2019 at the district office, June 4, 2020 virtually via Google Meets. In accordance with the provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Public Act, the committee conducts meetings for the public's attendance and participation. Meeting agendas and notices are sent to committee members and posted within the required period of time at the Temple City Unified School District office and the district website. Meeting notices, agendas, minutes, and all other documents received by the committee are a matter of public record and are available on the Temple City Unified District's website. On June 4th, 2020, the Measure S Citizens Oversight Committee received the annual performance audit reports for the year ending June 30, 2019. On behalf of the Measure S Citizens Oversight Committee, I am pleased to inform you that the district is in compliance with Article 13A, Section 1B3 of the California Constitution, and the current projects are authorized under Measure S. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gina. Does anybody have any questions?
I do, Gina. Actually, did you say that Steve Tyre resigned? There was some feedback at the time you spoke about that.
Yes, he resigned from his position. Yes.
Any other questions? All right, well, we want to thank the committee for all their work during this past year. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Gina.
You too. We'll move on to discussion action items. Item number 21, adopt resolution 2021-04 proclaiming September 6th through 12th, 2020 as Yellow Ribbon Week, Suicide Prevention Week, and observing October as School Safety Month. And Dr. Bricker, is there anything you want to say about this?
I'll make a motion that we accept 21 as written.
Okay, motion by member Nolenberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by member Smith. Oh, as member Smith. Thank you, Melissa. Dr. Fricker, was there anything you wanted to tell us about these? They're pretty self-explanatory.
It's pretty self-explanatory on this one.
Okay. Roll call vote. Member Lynn?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item 22 is 2020-2021 designation of California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, representatives to league. Dr. Fricker, you want to give us a brief overview of this?
Yep. Every single year, we have to adopt our representatives for this California Interscholastic Federation, or CIF.
Thank you.
And so This year, as always, it's usually the athletic director and the high school principal. So that would be the same two people on this initiative moving forward. And even though we're not having a lot of our athletic events, they have been just pushed and postponed. So we're hoping that they will come online soon, and that our students can get back out there on those athletic fields and have some athletic contests.
Thank you. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by member Nolenberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by member Smith. Okay, is there any discussion or questions? All right, roll call vote. I'll go first. I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
And member Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item 23 is to receive board policies for second reading and approve. We have several of them. 4030, non-discrimination in employment. 4119.11, 4219.11, 4319.11, sexual harassment. 4119.21, 4219.21, 4319.21, professional standards. 4119.22, dress and grooming. 4119.24, 4219.24, 4319.24, maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions. 4219.22, dress and grooming. 4319.22, dress and grooming. 5145.3, non-discrimination harassment. 5145.7, sexual harassment. So, Monica, did you want to give us an overview of these?
This is the second reading. These are the ones from last time. I can open it up for questions, or I can go through each one. What do you prefer, Donna?
Okay, why don't we do a motion and a second first, and then we can.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Okay,
second.
motion by member Nolenberg, second by member Espinosa. Okay, I believe last time we had some board members that wanted to make some additions to them. Did we do that?
Donna, actually, we corresponded, and we confirmed that it's
CSBA.
language, sorry, tongue twister. So if we deviate from the language, I would like to, I think we all confirmed that we were not going to deviate from the language this time. But in the future, if we do want to deviate from the SBSA language, I would like to run it by legal just to make sure we are not altering any legal code or any legal language that is required of us moving forward. But I believe we are good to go for this round, Donna.
And this is,
thank you.
I did look at that, and I did not see the language on the first round, but I did see it on the second round. So if I overlooked it, I did see the non-retaliation language and the interim measures language on the employment one. So I think we're good.
And likewise, I spoke with Monica and Vera about it as well.
Does anybody have any questions or need any explanation of any of these? Okay, we'll take a vote. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so the motion carries 5-0. Item 24 is under educational services. It's approved the consolidated application for 2020-2021. And Mercedes, are you going to give us a little overview of this?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. So the agenda report that you have before you is for the consolidated application for the 2021 school year. So a little bit of background: in order for a district to receive categorical funding, a consolidated application, or the CONAP, has to be submitted through the California Department of Education's Consolidated Application Reporting System, which is also known as CARS. So typically the CAR system has 2 submission periods. They have a spring and a winter submission. This year, the spring submission was delayed due to COVID-19, as was many other things. So over the last month, Educational Services has worked closely with business services to complete the application, requesting funding for all categorical programs that the CDE deems us eligible for. So these categorical programs include Title I, Helping Disadvantaged Children, Title II, Ensuring Teacher Quality, Title III, which is our English learner and immigrant students, and Title IV, Student Support and Academic Enrichment. So while the exact funding entitlements will not be received until January of 2021, it is estimated to be approximately $1 million.
Great.
Consolidate the,
Would someone,
do we have to consolidate the applications to be eligible for the money?
No, it's the consolidated application is just the name of it, but it's one application.
Okay.
okay, would someone like to make a motion for approval?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Motion by member Espinosa.
I'll second.
Second by member Nolenberg. Okay, is there any other questions or discussion on this?
I have a question. There's
Yes.
this new learning loss mitigation fund, which is, I guess, not part of the CONAP. And how are we going to be able to supplement what we have in terms of those title funds to help the students who may have a learning gap due to distance learning?
So I'm going to defer that one to Marianne because I know we've submitted our application for the learning loss mitigation funds, but that was not folded into the CONAP.
So Mercedes is correct. It's not part of CONAP, but we have applied for those funds, and we'll be coming back in late September or early October to do a review for the board of all the additional funding we received related to COVID. Some of it needs to be spent by the end of December, and some of it is into 21 and 22. So we'll be bringing something back and discussing those details. There's not much mention of a concern about supplanting as you're using the COVID-related funding.
Okay, so maybe for the future, since this is not part of the agenda, maybe for the future, it's how are we using the title funds as well as the learning loss mitigation funds to close the achievement gap or to mitigate the learning loss during distance learning? Thank you. That's an instructional question.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, we'll go ahead and take a vote. Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
Member Lynn?
Yes.
I am a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item 25 is under Personnel Services. It's approval of a district webmaster. And I do have some public comment on this. It says, greetings. This item is very near and dear to me. For many years, I felt that the district was lacking in a functional and informative website. I was happy last year when the board voted a large expenditure for a new website. It finally was launched several weeks ago. It is a good beginning, but it is lacking in many areas. Forgive my metaphor, but it's not ready for prime time. The main items of concern are missing information, broken links, visual appeal, non-responsive responsiveness across different platforms, browsers, devices, and phones. I have read the outline of the duties for the webmaster. I would like to offer some additional observations. Number one, can this job description include a limited duty as public information officer also? Number two, I would like this person to not only wait for newsworthy items and photos, videos to flow to him, her, but seek it out. Having a designated person at each site that would forward newsworthy information without being asked. Number three, I would like Webmaster to provide a complete analytical report at least once a month to the board. The report would include page reviews, hits, popular pages, countries of origin viewing pages, amount of time on the website. Number 4, nothing should be uploaded until complete testing across all platforms. No, I think I said number 5, but that was number 4. Number 5, content should never be static. It should have new content that would draw viewers in, so much that if they feel they did not visit the website in a few days, they might feel they missed something. Possibly a School of the Month feature with students and admin. In closing, in this digital age, nothing says more about the Temple City Unified School District than a one-stop information center for parents and students, such as our website. Even in this pandemic period, there are many good things happening that we have to let our families know about. Thank you for allowing me to express my opinions. I don't want to be critical. My only desire is to make TCUSD the best. Sincerely, Jerry Jambazian. Okay. Monica, would you like to give us an overview of this position?
Yes, about a year ago, we had a PIO/webmaster combo position. And we did switch to a new website format and vendor. After this, I just want to make a small correction. This position is not a CSCA 105 and 823 as stated earlier. It is a management unrepresented position. So it is outside of the bargaining unit. But we tried to follow the classified study of avoiding combining two jobs that require full-time attention. We have 7 sites, school sites that need updating, and then we have the district website. So this district webmaster will be able to manage not only our district, but oversee and assist with the school websites, which is in dire need. We need an experienced school website designer whose work includes a responsive, including mobile-friendly design. A website developer that ensures our website's code is compatible with all browsers and is also ADA compliant, which is very crucial. A graphic designer who will manage image copyrights, understand accessibility, contrast issues, and create an elegant, intuitive, and functionally visual site. A professional copywriter who consolidates and organizes our existing content to create an inviting, customer-focused, an informative website with intuitive navigational structure, and a project manager with school site web experience to coordinate the whole thing with the foresight to avoid common issues that can arise. Again, this was it is not including the PIO, but we could take that into consideration because that is an existing job. But we know that this job is comprehensive and something that needs to be focused on for our district and our sites. So we are asking to separate it and just become a district webmaster rather than a combo position, which takes away from spending more time on the websites.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I have more I want to discuss about this. Should I wait for the motion or?
Yeah, and then we'll discuss it and you can
Okay.
ask questions. So
I-
you're making a motion, Matt?
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Okay, you want to second it?
I'll second it.
Matt, I mean, Tim? Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. So Member Smith, do you want to go ahead with your comments and questions?
Yeah, so I had the exact same concern when I read the job description. I noticed it kind of talked around the issue of PIO, but it didn't specifically say PIO. And I'm concerned about that because I believe our website could and should be primary means of communication with the community. The other thing I like to bring up too is there are at least 2 different Temple City Schools websites, or not websites, but Facebook pages. And I think it would be important for the person in this position to kind of monitor what's talked about on those things because it's relevant more than just outside those Facebook posts. I think it's something that should be looked at and reviewed and if appropriate, shared and discussed on our district website. So I understand, Monica, the conflict of having 2 different positions molded into one, but I think it would be a good upgrade, to be honest. I guess I disagree on that.
Okay, I could bring it back for revision. I just know under the, when we did have the current one, it was a struggle to keep up with the websites as well as the PIO. PIO in terms of communication and whatever, we would work, our departments would work closely with the webmaster to serve in that quasi PIO role, since we're providing the information anyway. But suggestion noted, and we can take it under review if the board feels collectively that we should do that.
So maybe I haven't understood then. Is there a plan to bring on a PIO as a separate position then?
Not at this time. Right now, each of us serve as providing the information. We just need someone that is able to put it into the website in an accessible manner.
Okay, but then just from a personal standpoint, I've been frustrated from time to time and I can't find things I think that are important on our website.
Right.
I would, if better one molded together than if not just one by itself.
We can look at it more. I could bring back the older job description. It is outdated, but we can update it. But and then we could talk about the ratio of PIO to webmaster. But with the 7 sites and the district and the current state of newness that we're in with the new vendor, we thought it would be more beneficial just to focus on that at this point.
Matt, can I ask you what do you think that PIO needs to be doing that's not being done?
I think a lot of stuff goes on in the district. It's good things that are going on, but it's not communicated real well with people in the community. And so I see the website as being a place that anybody can go to find out what's going on at a certain site or another site or district-wide, whether it's help for any of the particular programs, special needs, that kind of stuff. I don't think, and I don't mean to be critical, but I don't think our website has been the vehicle it could be in terms of dispersing information.
I agree with you, but I know we're going to be implementing a newsletter coming up next month. It's going to be coming out twice a month. So I'd kind of like to see how Dr. Fricker's communication plan is going to play out before we start making changes to it. I want to give her the opportunity. She knows we want better communication with the community, and I'd kind of like to give her the opportunity to implement her plan. That's how I feel about it. Dr. Lynn, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think just the terminology webmaster is so 1990 kind of, because right now we're talking about social media, we're talking about apps that you download where you just push out information. You have, Donna, you mentioned the newsletter, email blasts. There's so many different ways to reach parents, and parents have so many different ways to get information. And I'm thinking, yeah, I know it's under the category of webmaster, and that's where I kind of agree with what Matt is saying about the PIO, because it's not just the website, it is communication, right? It is getting that information out and having us be accessible to our parents and families. So I think we're moving in the right direction with this agenda item, because we certainly, especially during this day and age and with distance learning, we need more communication. Because I don't see that educators or principals are able to shake hands in the mornings, or teachers are able to greet the kids at the classroom doors. So communication is so essential to have those connections be made and continue to be made every day during distance learning.
Anyone else have any questions or comments about this?
Donna, if the board would like to wait and we can bring it back, we can do that.
I'm not inclined to wait. If this is what you feel you need, I want to support it, and you know what we want. You know, we want a good communications plan, and if you feel this is the way you need to do that, then I support that.
So I don't mind if we kind of come back and put together a communications, presentation, and to see how all of those things integrate and what the systems we are. I think that would actually be a good educational tool, because I do think that we have hit communications on a variety of fronts going into the school year. I know that we did a ton of planning, and we sent out a lot of messages to staff and to parents, kind of leading us up into the opening of school. I don't think it's a bad idea to just put just a small little presentation together, possibly on the next agenda, about communications in total, and kind of see where the gaps are in terms of what we need to improve on as well. I think that we've made good strides in communication and the foundational systems of that, but I don't mind kind of bringing it back, and then re-looking at the PIO position. I know that is a full-time position, and we were very sensitive on the linking of two positions together, just because it makes it very cumbersome. And then, you saw some conflicts with that, or some difficulty with that going through the personnel study. So we wanted to avoid that, but maybe we look at it and reshape it differently. I don't know, maybe we need to think outside the box on that.
I had a little bit of a different question, and I don't want to get off the subject if there's more on this part of the topic. So I'll just, Matt, did you have something that you wanted to add to?
I just want to say I personally would appreciate if we did that.
Okay. Okay, and then my question was more around, is this considered an add to a new position, or is this considered we're taking a salary expense of a different position and applying it to this job? Is it just a brand new position, and it's going to have a new fiscal impact?
So we did have a PIO webmaster. That was the old job description. Kat Healy used to have that position. She had left about a year ago, and we left it unfilled. We wanted to make some critical changes on the structures of our communication, looking at where our communication was breaking down. And we know that has been a district focus and a board focus since I was hired on. So I do think that we've made some structural changes, both in the way that we send out informational blasts to parents, the website, and some of the other communication tools that we have. So we have kind of recouped some salary from a position that we used to have, and saved some money there. This would be then the reauthorization of that position. But I mean, I think that if we take a step back and just look at all of the systems, no one wants to add just to add. But at the same time, we don't want to disappoint either, and we want to make sure that the communication is being pushed out and it be timely too. So, but we can come back. I don't think it's a negative idea to have a presentation just on communications, so that everybody's aware of all the communication tools that we have and what it's going to look like, and what it's beginning to look like as we move into the school year. Because it is different from last year. It will be a little bit different from last year.
So back to this agenda item, which is about the webmaster. When I was reading this, I thought, how we have Dragonflix at the high school, and how can the kids benefit? And this is not just, a person who's going to be in the back office, just coding or sending out surveys or updating the website every day. I mean, how many web pages can you update in a day without really getting, eye fatigue? And I'm thinking maybe this person can also serve as an advisor at the high school, like how we have Dragonflix and you have advisors like clubs, where the kids actually would benefit. And this person would be actually out in the open, if it's safe, of course, or if it's over Zoom, this person could consult, right, and help students learn how to either design a website, or if it's a PIO, then it will be a person who could help the English department in helping kids learn how to communicate better. you know, we do have a journalism group at the high school. So
Yeah.
it ties right in, and I think parents will love it, kids will love it, and the district will benefit, as well as the, you know, helping our crisis communication plan, right? I mean, we've gone through that episode. I don't know how you survive without a PIO, but we're still in this crisis. And I'm pretty sure with, as we're phasing in, you know, to opening school again, there's going to be a lot of demand on communication and how we communicate with one voice and clearly too. We're going to need a lot of surveys conducted. That information, I think, could go under this position.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with having a presentation on the communications plan, but I'm not so sure that changes the need for a full-time webmaster. You know, either we need a full-time webmaster or we don't. And if we do, then we should approve it now, because we're just delaying getting our website functional so that people can use it.
Is that really the case, Kim?
Delay. Well, I would not rush to a decision that everybody's not, you know, fully on board with. So I think if we need more time to have this conversation, that is completely fine with me. I think that a lot of the people in our district administration and or on the tech side, we are very occupied with a lot of other facets and aspects of either running the school district or launching the school year or making sure that the information is out there. And it is a lot of effort to put together communications that they're very clear, they're very easy for people to follow, they're not too much, they're not too little. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the agonizing over sending out the communications. And so it is a daunting task. There is no doubt about that. And then there is, at the same token, just the uploading of information, making sure it's on there, making sure you coordinate back and forth with people to get the information and then to put it onto the website so that it can be robust. It's not just the sole responsibility of one person to gather it all, create it all, and then publish it all. It does require a lot of back and forth between different folks to get it and then manipulate it in a way and then put it up for publication. Either you're sending it on an email or you're sending a connected call or a call home to families, or you're sending it out, you know, through the website channels. So we too, like Jerry, want to make it as robust as possible, and we want to make it as convenient as possible. All of that takes work and energy and effort. However, if we want to pair it or we think about pairing it with a PIO, I would be in favor of that. Because I do think that would lighten a load or lighten a burden from other aspects of the district that are currently working on, you know, making sure that our communications come out in a variety of forms. So if the board is wanting to see it that way, I don't mind coming back and giving you a couple of alternatives or different job descriptions that would reflect, you know, a different option. And then we could make a better decision at that point.
Yeah, I guess I would like to know if we don't need a full-time webmaster, then okay, I'm fine with that. But if we do need a full-time webmaster, then I think we should move forward with it.
Sorry,
Anybody else have?
Overall, I'd like to know what the overall plan is, and I don't think if we only apply this, it's only half the plan. I'd like to know what the other half is.
Okay, I mean, I think that's fair. And so in terms of the communications, I know that we have been sending out communications. I do think that we want to create something that's sustainable long-term. And I do think that eventually, you know, that integration of social media, website, publications, emails to parents, all of that is in unison. That would be definitely the goal. But we would be more than happy to bring back that presentation at the next board meeting.
So I
Okay,
moved,
any other questions?
I moved to table.
I'm sorry.
I moved to table.
I'm sorry. Okay, to table or withdraw your motion?
Either way, I moved to postpone this till the next meeting. You choose the words.
Okay, well then, if you want to postpone it, then it'll be back on the agenda just like this.
Well, then I moved, I guess, to withdraw the
Withdraw
motion.
it then.
Table.
Okay. Okay, motion has been withdrawn. Okay, someone want to make a motion, or I guess, to table until we get a communications plan
I'll make that.
presentation?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion,
I'll second it.
all right.
I'll
So we're
second the
going.
motion.
Okay, I second by member Nolenberg. So we're tabling this until after a presentation on a communication plan.
Hopefully within the next month or two. Right?
Next meeting.
Okay, I'm just writing it down, sorry. So make sure we got it right. Okay, any last questions or comments? We'll go ahead and take a vote. Member Espinosa,
Yes.
member Lynn,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg? What are we voting on?
Motion you said.
We're voting on a motion to table until after a presentation on a communication.
Okay, yes, I vote yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Next is the consent calendar. They're routine items approved by one motion and one vote unless a member of the board or audience requests that any item be reviewed and voted on separately. I'd like to make a motion to table item 32E.
Second.
Okay, second by member Smith. Is there any questions about that or comments?
No, but I
Okay,
also wanted to table a number, but if we have to vote separately, we can.
Table it or pull it
I mean-
for discussion?
I'm sorry, pull it.
Okay, so hold on to that for a second, please. Okay, so we'll take a vote here. Member Lynn?
Wait, I'm voting to table 32, right?
32E,
32E. So,
right.
okay, so
The
the
rest of
motion.
32.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm a yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes again, yes.
Yes,
Member Smith?
Yes.
Okay, member Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries 5-0. All right, was there something that you wanted to pull, Melissa?
Yeah, I just had questions on 29. So if we could just pull it for a couple questions.
You don't need to pull it.
Yeah, you.
Or can I just ask questions about it?
Yeah.
Let's do a motion and a second, and then you can ask questions about it. Is there anything else anybody wants? Okay. Or maybe we'll do your questions now. Do you want to go ahead and ask those? In case we need to eliminate it from the consent calendar.
Okay, so there were just a couple of items on the well, there's one contract item that I wanted to ask about, and that was the contract on La Habra fencing. It talks about something about a new drop-off area at the high school, some new fencing, and I noticed it out when I was out and about, and I did want to ask, like, what is that? What is that?
So you may have noticed during graduation in the parking lot at the high school on the western side, there's additional painting to offer more security and safety to students during drop off. Additionally, the fence was pulled out pulled back west about 6 to 9 feet into that grass area to allow more safety for the students. And this is actually just extending the date of the contract because it went a little bit longer to get the work done. So you probably noticed there was some white paint that starts on the northern part of the parking lot to give students a safer way to get in as they're traversing through the parking lot. It's a little bit rough there for student safety, and that was the purpose of that project.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. And then the other question I had is on the POs of that number 29. I noticed 75,000 for Adkins, Andelson, that law offices. Is that for one matter or is that for a whole year's worth of matters?
That's the current contract, adding dollars to that current contract.
So
For
that contract
various areas, legal matters that will be coming up, not one specific legal matter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, actually, there was one more. What is, it's number 78 on the POs list. It's Train, TRANE company for 254,000. What is that? And I'm sorry, Marianne, I'm putting you on the spot.
For
It's just,
a chiller at Temple City High School, that's a portion of the equipment that runs the air conditioning for the high school.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
She said it's air conditioning at the high school.
Oh,
right, the chiller. And if I might point out to you at the very top of that document, you'll see it says contracts only. So these 3 pages are contracts that have already been approved by the board. And this report is showing you that those have been encumbered. So it doesn't mean that a check has been cut for these items yet. It just means they've been encumbered on the budget as the contracts have been approved. And then when you go to beyond that page, where you'll see another set, and that's actually vouchers that have been cut.
Got it. Okay.
Or checks that have been cut, excuse me.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? Yes, Member Smith?
Yeah, I have 2 questions on 29 as well. On page 1 of 3 for the Danzo group, there's a proposal for 7 custom cabinets at TCHS for $68,600, which sounds like an awful expensive cabinets. I was just wondering what those cabinets are for, what they really are.
So let me provide a little bit more detail for that. The new learning center area that's on the west part of the campus in the portables just north of the softball field, there are 7 classrooms there. And this is cabinetry for storage for those 7 classrooms. The existing portables don't have any built-in storage for teachers. And so this is work that was done between maintenance and operations and Mr. Westgate to design storage for the teachers that have moved into the learning center, the new learning center area. So I apologize, it's not 7 cabinets, it's 7 classrooms.
Okay, that helps. Thank you. And then one more question on page 1 of 3 for the contracts only. Item 27, Speech Guy LLC, contract for $720,000. It's just an awful lot of money. I was wondering what $720,000 is.
Absolutely. So again, this first section, these first 3 pages are contracts that have been approved by the board. It is not an expenditure at this point. So the Speech Guy is support for special education for students needing speech therapy in their IEPs. And this is the estimate from the Director of Special Education of what that expense will be for the year for all students receiving speech in their IEPs.
Okay. Any idea how many students involved, or?
I don't have that with me, but we could certainly bring that back to you.
That's all right. I'm good. I understand.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second, or
We do
motion by Member
26,
Nolenberg.
27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Skip portion of 32 and 33.
33 is approval. Is there someone like to make a second?
Second by Lynn.
Lynn.
Okay, second by member Lynn. All right, we'll take a roll call vote. It's my turn to go first. I vote yes. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa?
Yes.
And member Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, the consent calendar is passed. Item 34 is board comments. Are there any other comments by board members? Okay, hearing none. Item 35 is future agenda items. Does anyone have a future agenda item? Yes, member Smith.
Yeah, so I got to thinking a little bit about this whole issue with some of the job reclassifications and whatnot. And we used to have a meeting once a year with the Personnel Commission, a joint meeting. And I believe it was usually in October when they published their annual report. And it hasn't happened for at least the last 2 years. And I don't know when the last time was before that, but I'd like to suggest that we schedule a joint meeting with the Personnel Commission so we can all talk with each other about roles and responsibilities and get better understanding of things.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
Yes, I have
I
something.
have, go ahead.
Go ahead, Donna. You want
Go ahead,
to
Mike.
go first? Okay, real quick. So
Go ahead.
I know during distance learning, we don't have any emergency drills because kids are not on campus. We do have some emergencies, like, for example, Zoom bombing. That was happening in the spring, but it's still happening, and it's getting worse in some meetings where you get hackers or people who are impersonating people coming in, disrupting class, disrupting instruction, posting very obscene information, if not pictures, also possibly racist statements, really disrupting instruction. Maybe we don't need emergency drills now, but maybe Zoom bombing drills or some sort of a virtual learning drills where the teacher knows exactly how to respond in a case where we get attacked or a class gets attacked, or even this board meeting, if we were to get attacked, and do we have the immediate response time where Donna or somebody who's running this meeting would know how to shut it down and then shut that person out. I know with Zoom, I see that in the, the license agreement for all students, we're paying $15,000, and Zoom is more superior, has more features that Google doesn't, like mute and, accepting kids in the waiting room. So possibly we could have some drills so that the teachers know how to react and respond appropriately if a classroom were to get attacked.
Dr. Lynn, if I could just add to, by integrating Zoom into Canvas, we are making ourselves even one more layer more secure because it is within the house of Canvas. So everybody gets in by a secure, by being recognized that they belong there. So that's helped a little bit. I can't say for sure that it still couldn't be hacked, but it's much more secure than even just a normal Zoom link that we would send out.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have anything? All right, the two things I had, one, in our last meeting, we were not able to approve the community service requirement or eliminating it for the 2021 and 22 school year. So I just want to make sure we don't forget that we need to do that. And then the other thing I brought this up to, and I know we need to wait on this, but I would love to see a demonstration of distance learning by a student. So maybe in about a month or so when everybody's got the hang of it, if we could have that, that would be great. Okay, is there any additional public comment on agendized or non-agendized items?
No.
Okay, hearing none. Is there any, Marie?
No, there's not, Donna.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hearing none, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn at 9:17?
I'll motion.
Motion by member Espinosa and second by
Member Smith.
All right. Okay, and I will vote yes on this. Member Nolenberg?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Espinosa,
Yes.
and Member Lynn.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Everybody get some rest.
Thank you. Good night,
Thanks. Have a
everybody.
good night, everybody.
Good night.